So here you can see the variable regions and constant regions of both heavy and the light chains. So the blue lines indicate the disulfide bonds. You can see the light chain and the heavy chain are connected by the disulfide bond, and similarly both the heavy chains are also connected by disulfide bond. The important thing to note here that in each chain also is connected with within itself by means of these sulfide bonds. These are called intra-chain sulfide bonds. So they are present in heavy chain and in the light chain. So when you when we have a closer look of the variable region of the light chain, you can see there are some hot spots or the yellow highlighted region which are called hypervariable regions of light chain. You can also see similar hotspots on the heavy chain which are called heavy chain hypervariable region. These are the regions which are quite variable and determines the specificity of the antibodies. So, but when you look at the FC region, which is mainly composed of the constant region, so this constant region is mainly conserved within the same class of antibodies, and the variable region may change from one antibody to another antibody depending upon the type of antigen for which they are produced. To study the structure of an antibody, generally two types of enzymatic cleavage experiments are done. One is called pepsin cleavage and the other is called pepin cleavage. If the antibody is cleaved with pepsin, it results in two fragments of antibodies and the Fc region is degraded. So in this case, you can only get only the Fab region. So by this, you can determine the valency of the antibodies. Like if you get two, you can see it's bivalent. If they are four, it's tetravalent, depending upon or the number of Fab regions which are produced. However, the pepin cleavage results in a Fab fragment as well as Fc fragments. So it gives you a complete picture of the fragments of the antibodies. There are five different types of heavy chains, that is alpha, mu, gamma, delta and epsilon. Depending upon the type of heavy chain an antibody has, it is classified into five different groups. An immunoglobulin A or antibody A is composed of alpha heavy chain, IgM is composed of mu heavy chain, IgG is composed of gamma heavy chain, IgD is composed of delta heavy chain, and IgE is composed of epsilon heavy chain. As we have seen earlier, a heavy chain is composed of one variable region called VH and three or four constant regions which are named as CH1, CH2, CH3 and CH4. A lighter chain of an antibody can be kappa chain or lambda chain. Kappa chain are more common, like 60% of antibodies have kappa chain and 40% have the L chain or lambda chain. As we have seen earlier, lighter chains are composed of one constant and one variable region named as VL and CL. So the hinge region uh, is generally rich in proline and it is flexible. So this hinge region or the fork region is present in IgG, IgA and IgD. However, it is not present in IgM or IgE due to the presence of an extra constant heavy chain domain called CH4. So the hinge region is mainly composed of heavy chain, which can be either alpha, mu, gamma, delta, or epsilon. Immunoglobulins can be classified as isotypes, allotypes, or idiotypes. Let us discuss them one by one. Isotypes are immunoglobulins or antibodies which differ in their constant region. That is, they're mainly their heavy chain. So the different classes of antibodies like IgG, IgM, IgD, IgE, and IgA are generally classified as isotypes. So these isotypes are identical within the same species. So all human would have the same isotypes. As a result, there is no response against these isotypes, or there is no anti-isotypic immune response. But remember, isotypes may vary within individuals of different species. Allotypes are antibodies which show differences within the isotypic form. That is, they show any allelic variation that occurs in a population. So individuals of different population or within the same species may have different allotypes. These allotypes are due to variation in the amino acids in both heavy chain and light chain, and they can also form allotypes on the basis of even 1 to 4 amino acid differences. So remember, they differ within the same population but remain the same within the same individual. So if an individual is exposed to a non-self allotype, it would result in an anti-allotype immune response. The third type of classification is called idiotype, which is due to the differences in the hypervariable regions. That is, the region of both light and heavy chain. So this idiotype determines the specificity of the antibody. So these differences are due to the changes in the antigen binding sites or the paratope. So there would be many different idiotypes within the same individual. Now let's study the different determinants using this figure. The isotypic determinants, as we have discussed, only differ in their heavy chain. So mouse IgG and mouse IgM. So are isotypic determinants because they only vary in their heavy chain. So IgG has a gamma heavy chain and IgM has a mu heavy chain. So within the mouse, these isotopic determinants are identical. So now let's come to the allotypic determinants. As we know, allotypic determinants have a variation within the same isotopic determinant. So in this case, you can see the antibodies are in both cases are IgG produced by strain A of mouse and strain B of mouse. So these allotypic determinants represents the allelic variation. So this variation is due to variation in the amino acid sequence here. In this case, it's due to variation in the kappa chain of the IgG, and the B strain produces a different sequence of amino acid within the same kappa chain. So the third type of determinant is the idiotypic determinants, which are due to variation within the hypervariable region, as you can see here at the topmost region, which contains variable region of both heavy chain and light chains. As you can see here, a different paratope has been produced here, and in this case, a different paratope is produced here. So because IgG1 in first case produces a paratope which is specific to antigen A, and in the second case it produces a paratope which is specific to antigen B. So idiotypic determinants can be variable within the same individual.